We're on.
Hello, welcome to Keep Indiana Chatting. Today is our ice cream social. We are here to get the scoop on summer learning and professional development. If you join any of our sessions live, you are not pressured to speak or turn your cameras on. While we would prefer to see everyone join us live and hear your thoughts, we know that's not always possible. So please don't hesitate to ever join us live at another time or watch us on YouTube. This session will be recorded so that we can share the information with others and for you to come back and refer to it if you need. I'm Melissa Wally and I've been in education for over 20 years. I work for Hanover Community Schools up in the region. I'm an educational technology specialist in my district. I'm also a board member for HEC and a digital learning coach for Keep Indiana Learning. I'm really enjoying working with people from all around Indiana. It's one of my favorite things about being a part of Keep Indiana Learning. And it's how I met Dianna and Tim and so many other people that have helped me grow professionally, but I can also now call friends. So tonight we are calling this an ice cream social and bringing in one of my favorite things, ice cream. My favorite ice cream is pretty much anything on a waffle cone. But if I got to pick, I would pick like a vanilla with caramel and chocolate swirl in a waffle cone. There's nothing like walking into one of those smaller ice cream shops and smelling that freshly made waffle cone. And I never can resist, even though I know it's going to be too much, it's going to be too big, and I get it anyway. So how about you, Dianna?
Well, I'm Dianna Knox. I am a technology instructional specialist from Clay Community Schools in Brazil. Like Melissa, I've been in education for over 20 years, and I serve on the HEC board also. I co-lead our state's InQ, Indiana Canvas Users and Educators group. Of course, I work through Keep Indiana Learning as a digital learning coach, and then I also work with our Indiana GEG group. I'm a travel-loving farm girl. I always like new experiences. I love meeting new people, and so that common to what Melissa and I actually become very good friends because we met at HEC a few years ago, and then anytime we can collaborate together, I enjoy that. But my favorite thing is meeting all these new people, because what Melissa and I've learned, and then I learned as I talk to more people, sometimes it feels very lonely in some of these roles, but when you get to talking to people from other parts of the state or the parts of the country, they're experiencing the same challenges that we are. So that always makes me feel better. I don't think there's any bad ice cream. I really like this theme tonight, but my mom makes a homemade chocolate ice cream out of melted Milky Way bars. And that is my very favorite ice cream. I have a summer birthday. I don't want a birthday cake. I just want my birthday ice cream. How about you, Tim? Yeah, it's delicious.
Why? My name's Tim Arnold. I'm a district e-learning specialist from Richmond Community Schools in Richmond, Indiana. Prior to being an e-learning specialist, I was a social studies teacher and coach at Nettle Creek Schools in Hagerstown. And additionally, I was selected as a top 10 educator in the state of Indiana. Taught social studies methods at Earlham College in their Master of Arts in Teaching program, and have been lucky enough to present at multiple local, state, and national conferences. This year, I joined Keep Indiana Learning as a digital learning coach, and that has just fueled my fire because I love to serve teachers that are serving students. In my spare time, I like to play guitar, and I train for triathlons and duathlons. And now the important question of the night, the favorite ice cream. Most of my life, I would have told you Moose Tracks. But on a recent trip to Florida, in a small mom and pop store like the one described earlier on Sanibel Island, I discovered this ice cream called Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. And I was actually kind of embarrassed to go in and say it, but I did. And it turns out it is irresistibly smooth cheesecake ice cream mixed with sweet raspberry ripple, Oreo cookies, and soft chocolate chunks. And you can't beat that. And I'm not embarrassed to say we may have gone back 2 or 3 nights in a row.
That sounds amazing.
It does. It does. So with that being said, Tonight, we're going to talk about professional learning and the many different flavors or formats that we cover during the summer. So we're going to build a sundae. And first things first, let's talk about our district PD. That's the ice cream, the base of our sundae. So with that, we're going to talk about what's happening in our districts. In my district, typically any other year, we have an annual professional learning day in August that we call Infused, because we want to talk about how technology is infused into the learning. It's not something separate. This year, however, and it was a tough decision, but we are on hiatus due to lots of construction in our district. Our high school and our middle school are under construction. And then we're building a new school and administration center. And with that, many teachers are moving classrooms, as all districts go through. When there's a big change, that brings on the domino effect. And so we're feeling all of that, and everybody's having to shift. And there just isn't time for much PD this summer. And we just don't feel like it would be a good decision to schedule that day in. On top of all of that, we have to think about the technology that's going to be having to be put into that new building. Will it all be available? And that burden of our tech staff having to be installing equipment probably right up until the first day of school. So we do have some work going on in the high school, focusing on math and CTE classes at the high school level. And we've done lots of work on curriculum mapping, K through 12. And so now we're at the point where our maps are ready to be adding resources. Really, we've done the standards mapping, and now we get to really add in the resources to those maps and looking to see where we can bring in some cross-curricular connections, even at the high school level. So that's what's going on in Hanover. We're not doing any kind of big rollout of PD this summer, but we are doing some things to kind of get ready for more PD in the fall.
That curriculum mapping work, I was involved in some of that today, and that is such tough but good work. It's the basis for everything else you're going to do, and you get in there, and sometimes you're like, wow, this is a little mind numbing, but it is exactly the point at which great change starts.
Yeah, and we've done it. Our assistant superintendent led it, and we've done it at all grades, and it really has been a process. And now to see the actual not finished product, but the product that we have, it really is powerful to see how it all works together, and going from grade to grade and seeing that flow. I think it's going to help a lot with not only our scores, of course, but just our students being able to make connections with what they're learning.
Yeah, we're revising our K through 4 ELA maps this week, and we have a group coming in each day. And we're actually, after revising the map in the afternoon, we're writing common formative assessments for each grade level that they're going to do across the district. So I'm there to help with the common formative assessment part, but boy, the work that they're putting in is tremendous.
Yeah, it really is. And I feel like it's almost like a brain drain on the teachers that are tasked with it. But boy, the payoff is there. It really is there.
Yeah.
Okay, Tim, so what's going on in Richmond?
So at Richmond, much like you, we've done a little bit of everything. We've opened the year with district PD, but more commonly, we will start our second semester with a district-wide PD. And we've had keynotes recently, like Adam Sands, who does the SEL stuff, his book, the EQ intervention. One year we had Alice Keeler fly in. She has that site, Teacher Tech with Alice Keeler, and one of her books that we've used was Google Apps for Littles. And then we will offer multiple sessions during that day, and that would just be for our local teachers. But we've also created some on-demand PD. We made a switch from Microsoft to Google prior to the pandemic. And so we put out some level 1, level 2 trainings that people could do starting in the spring and through the summer as they had time. And then last summer, since we didn't have any summer learning conferences, we actually on our own created 12 2-hour sessions between June and July, and 12 of those were in-person sessions, and then 4 more were on demand for our teachers on a myriad of topics. So that was really the big work last summer, since we didn't have those conferences that I'm happy to say we have again, and we are hosting. We also host a monthly Twitter chat, which is actually tonight, right after this one. And all of this stuff that we create is archived in a district-wide Canvas course that our teachers have access to, and with specific sections on Canvas and Google, and even stuff just from our Office of E-Learning. So that's kind of a rundown of what we've done in the last few years. And it's always something new and different, which I love, because there are always new ways to say new things or the same things in a slightly different way.
And I think you get a lot of turnover in staff. So sometimes it's good to kind of repeat some of that, because we don't want to make assumptions that everybody's on the same page that we are. So it's kind of nice.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the onboarding process that all of us are involved in is just going to be a constant part of our job here for the near future.
And yeah, we're seeing lots of changes. My district doesn't do a lot of formalized in the summer. Since I took this position, I've always tried to have done different things. Like I had a Canvas camp and I had a Google Palooza. This summer, our teachers, I think, are very tired. So I'm going to be very intentional about what I offer. Nothing is mandatory. I have done this the last couple summers where I just host what I call EdTech open house days. And any teacher can come in with a topic and they get basically some one-on-one, or there's just a couple of people there. It's not really heavily attended necessarily, but they can come in for an hour, they can come in for 3 hours. Last summer, I had one teacher that showed up, every single one of them, but he just wanted to work on his curriculum and his curriculum map and building things. And then I was handy and he could ask me questions if he needed me. So that's the kind of the intent of that. I'm still going to work with it. I'm hosting a Canvas for Dummies book study with, actually doing 2. I'm actually doing one that I'll talk about a little bit later, but then I'm doing one local in my district. And then I'm heavily involved with the curriculum mapping, and our secondary's got a lot to do this summer. Our English kind of pushed adoption a year. We did not adopt on that. There's not really that formal rotation, but we've kind of stuck with that same schedule. And we pushed it a year, and now we're ready to kind of dive in. Now we've had some experience with those books and revamp our curriculum maps, but then all of our CTE with the pathways, we need to really take a look at a lot of those. So it'll be a quick and busy summer, I think, for all of us, it sounds like.
Yeah, I'm really interested in your book study. I took a long, hard look at that last night, and I didn't sign up, but I'm probably going to. So I be looking for me to pop up.
All right, good. I don't
have a copy of the book yet. I need to get it ordered, but that's easily done.
Yep. So we're ready. What's next? We're ready for our toppings. We're gonna add toppings to our sundae. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's next.
Toppings. So for me, that would be chocolate syrup. Hot fudge.
Hot fudge.
For our toppings, our regional trainings, we have our state level summer of learning conferences, which are back. So nice. So with that, I'm going to talk about 2 that are nearest to me up in the region. There are several around the state, but these are the 2 that are near to me. Now, I have attended the one at School City of Hammond before, and so I will talk about that one first. That one is July 27th and 28th. Up here in the region, we go to school a little bit longer, so ours don't always start off right away in June. But July 27th and 28th is in Hammond, and the focus is learning recovery, STEM, literacy, and digital learning. The keynote speakers, Matt Miller, of course, a favorite. Love that he is from Indiana, and he just gives so many contributions to educators. And you know, if you go to a Matt Miller session, it's going to be good. I have been guilty of going to a back when it was called Summer of E-Learning conference, and maybe just having a permanent seat in Matt Miller's sessions time and time and time again, just to soak it all in as much as I could.
Guilty.
Yeah, he's good. And then there's another keynote speaker, Dr. Thomas L., and he's from Pennsylvania. Now, reading about him is interesting because he's a principal. He is a nationally known teacher and chess coach. He's been on the Dr. Oz show. He's an 8-time national chess champion, while his students are. But he has a lot of books: Passionate Leadership, Building a Winning Team, Retention for a Change. So I think all of that is very welcome. And then we have a spotlight speaker also from Indiana, Dr. Buddy Berry, who is all about the Dream School. He's down from Evanescence, down by Bloomington area. So I believe he usually has sessions about bringing Disney into schools. I've never seen him speak, but I've always wanted to. So I'm hoping to be able to see him speak. So I think South Shore Summer of Learning Conference is going to be a good one, as always. The other one that's up by me is Ignite, and that one is in Lafayette. That one, interestingly enough, these two that are up by me overlap. So this one, I believe, is July, I think 25th, 26th, or
26, 27. It's 26, 27.
26th, 27th, and then Hammond is 27th, 28th. Yeah, so they do overlap. So I'm going to have to make some tough choices there. But Ignite is another good one. And the keynotes at Ignite, Jesse Lubinsky and Amber Harper. Jesse Lubinsky is the Chief Learning Officer for Ready Learning One, and he has a lot of experience with augmented and virtual reality and esports. So I think he will have a different perspective, much different perspective than what's going on in Hammond. A lot of information about innovation. So that would be a very good one to see as well. And I love one of the, he was published in a book called Using Innovative Technology in Your Classroom and Fueled by Coffee and Love, a Brew Perspective. Love that. And then Amber Harper is from www.burnedinteacher.com. So that is a very timely topic. We know hacking teacher burnout is necessary right now. And I think that that will bring a good perspective to some teachers, because we need to go beyond the comforts of bubble baths, yoga, and chocolate, and really find out about what we can do to make changes to teachers' lives and help them bring back the happiness and why they came into education. That's what we want. We want to support our teachers. So those are the two that are near me. And those are definitely two that I have on my schedule. I do have a couple others on my schedule too that I'll just have to drive a little farther to. But those are two that I'll be attending. How about you, Tim?
Yeah, I think I'm next. And I've got 4 on my list here. There's only one that I'm involved in hosting. So if anybody's going to be at these others, feel free to hop in and put your 2 cents in on any of these. I'm going to start with the eLead conference. That's South Madison School Corporation in Anderson. That is June 1st and 2nd. And the keynotes there, Dr. Megan Tolan, Assistant Professor of Education at Trine University and a personal friend, and Gary Brooks, who, if you've never heard him speak, wow, is worth the price of admission. I'm sure a lot of you have seen his videos that are hilarious, and he's no different in person. So that's the first one. I'll be presenting there on the topic of building the blend, I think on day 1. So they usually put the worst speakers at the beginning and the better speakers at the end. So I'm speaking right out of the gate on day one. So, but if you're there, please come and see me. The second one that I'll be attending, Franklin Township Community School Corporation. This one's being hosted by Nadine Gilkison. It is the Spark Summit. It is June 10th. And again, Gary Brooks is the keynote for this one-day conference. They've got, I think, I talked to Nadine earlier or late last week, and they had over 60 sessions available for this one-day conference. So that's pretty fabulous. And I think she still had some free tickets available at that point. So if you get in contact with her and Franklin's Township Community School Corporation, the Spark Summit, you can find some information on that. And if that's close to you, please consider joining that one. The third one on my list here is ours from Richmond Community Schools. It's called Tech Enriched. It's on Wednesday, July 20th. And Matt Miller was mentioned earlier. And in fact, he is our keynote speaker. Matt is pretty fabulous in that he's not only going to do the keynote, he's going to do 4 sessions for the day. He's going to work all day for us. And that's kind of just his deal. If you're going to pay for him, you're going to get that from him. And his dad Jeff actually graduated from Richmond High School, so there's a little bit of a local connection. So he's going to kind of his business manager. He's going to come with him for the day, I think. And so we're looking very, very forward to having Matt speak at our conference. We've got in excess of 40 sessions at our conference. It is a free for anybody to attend conference that includes breakfast and lunch. And we don't think we have the swag locked down just yet, but we do have a great number of door prizes at the end of the day. A tremendous list of speakers that are going to be there, including yours truly, Dianna Knox. And so we sure hope that you'll find your way to the eastern side of the state on Wednesday, July 20th. And then the last one I've got on my list is at Fort Wayne Community Schools, and that's Ignite Ed. And that's July 26th. And I'll talk a little bit about this one later because I'm excited about this one, not only because one of our colleagues, Shannon Quigley, is the conference coordinator, but John Carippo from Edu Protocols is going to be their keynote speaker. And I'm a huge fan, but I'll save a little bit of that for later on. So those are the 4 that I'll be attending and presenting at, either stuff on my own or stuff representing Keep Indiana Learning. So hop in there, guys, if you have any thoughts on any of those.
Yeah, I am, Tim, I'll be joining you at Franklin. I'm presenting there as well with Nadine, and then I'll be at Richmond. So I'm excited about those. And then Melissa mentioned Lafayette. I'll be at Lafayette as well. So I have 2 more on my list. There's 14 conferences altogether. And I think the amazing thing about Summer of Learning is that it is a nominal fee or free. It just depends on the conference. But for a whole day, you can get so much out of this and make so many great connections. The 2 I'm going to talk about, Batesville is hosting Splash Into Learning on June 1st and June 2nd. It does overlap with the South Madison one in Anderson. And it's $25. That includes lunches both days, snacks, and both days of the conference. They have 2 keynotes. They have Kim Campbell on the first day, and Chris Young, one of our fellow digital learning coaches for Keep Indiana Learning, is going to be their keynote for the second day. So I'm really excited to get over to Batesville and meet up with some people there. Chris, if you've never seen him present before, he's definitely entertaining. Kim is a new name to me, but I was kind of reading up on her today. And then June 13th, Yorktown, our fellow digital learning coach, Joe Cox, is hosting the Be Epic conference. And it's a one-day event. It's $25, but you get your lunch, you get snacks the conference day. Their keynote speaker is Trevor Muir. She's very excited about having him there. I've seen him on a couple of things with Keep Indiana Learning. And I think it's going to be a great day. So definitely, if summer learning is on your agenda, there's a lot of good things happening around the state. So the digital learning page for the DOE has all these conferences listed with the conference website information, so that you could check out one that's maybe close to you or one that just catches your interest. Or if you're like me, I'm going to see, well, this is a good opportunity for me to meet up with people that I've gotten to know around the state and say, hey, let's go to this conference, but then we can also kind of collaborate and have fun too. So
I think the neat part about it is you hear about one and you're like, oh, I definitely want to go to that one, and because of this reason. But then you hear about another and you're like, oh, and that one is equally as fantastic. And you could spend your whole summer just on a tour of Summer of Learning.
and then check out the great things New Jersey State has to offer. So
Right.
Yeah, just a shout out to a couple people you mentioned. The Batesville conference I've attended and presented at before. Jackie Huber runs that one, and she does a fabulous job. And of course, as you said, we have a colleague there who's keynoting. And then I'm scheduled somewhere else during the Yorktown conference, but Joe Cox is doing that one. And I've actually been to a conference that she's run before. She actually ran an outdoor camping themed thing at Summit Lake State Park a couple of years ago when she was new to Yorktown, and it was fabulous. And she brought in speakers, and it was all around a camping theme. And some people actually did stay in camp. Most of us didn't, but she always puts on a great show and a great conference. So if you have a chance, check out any of these that we've mentioned and any more that are on the list.
Okay, so next on our sundae, we have the whipped cream. So these are the bigger out of state, I guess, conferences, maybe a national conference, something bigger, maybe a more expensive conference that isn't always approved. I'm going to let Tim start on this one because I know that he has a lot of experience with some of these, and then I know I can chime in afterwards.
Okay, first of all, you're right. They are expensive, and I've been very, very lucky to be able to attend a lot of these. And I don't say that lightly, because they, if a school corporation is investing in its people, and if they do to send you to one of these, you really have to make sure that they're getting their money's worth when you get back with the things that you share and the connections that you make. And so, yes, I'm not going to lie and tell you it's not a whole lot of fun, but it's a whole lot of work. And that's the way it should be, to have fun and work at the same time. And let me talk about a couple of these. And for me, these are, if you ever have the chance, go. I've been fortunate enough to travel to and present at 3 InstructureCon conferences, and those are the people that run Canvas, the Canvas LMS, and a couple of ISTE conferences. So from Keystone, Colorado for Instructure at 10,000 feet of elevation and all that comes with those beautiful mountain views, to the sunny beaches of Long Beach, the last time the InstructureCon was held in person. And by the way, we caught an episode of SWAT being filmed. Any Shamar Moore fans out there? I'm not going to rat out the teachers that were with me, but they were just going bonkers to see Shamar Moore. 30 feet away filming a scene for SWAT. So that's the kind of stuff you run into if you get to go places like this. I'll add to that. Last time I went to ISTE, I went to Chicago, but the last time was in Philadelphia. And if you've never had the chance to see Reading Terminal Market and all the food that is offered there, unbelievable. You can find anything at any hour of the day right there in downtown Philly. We got to go to a Phillies game. And probably the highlight for me was myself and a couple of colleagues from Richmond who are runners. We actually ran from our hotel all the way to the Rocky Steps and up the Rocky Steps and did the whole Rocky Balboa thing. So, and we didn't want to run back. So the poor Uber we took, we sweat all over his car, but that's just another time. But anytime you get a chance to travel, to meet people, you're going to learn a lot. The fun, the people, the connections, the learning, it just can't be beat. And those that put on these conferences go out of their way to be accommodating and to offer really, really great sessions. And you just get to rub elbows with people you never thought you'd meet, people you see on Twitter or people whose books you've read, and all of a sudden you're in their presence. And it's well worth the time, the trip, the expense. So I highly recommend it.
I piggyback onto that. I've only been fortunate enough to go to one InstructureCon, but echo everything that Tim said. It was a fantastic experience. I think Instructure does a nice job of trying to connect their users from around the country anyway. So like Tim said, then to actually put a face with the name of people that I'd interacted with online and in different groups, It was a wonderful, wonderful experience. And I've only been to one ISTE, but I'm kind of looking to go back at some point in time. And I'm like Tim, I'm like you, I work in a district that I'm very fortunate. They invest in sending me those places, knowing that, and I take that very seriously, to know that I'm going to go and try to make as many connections and learn as much as I can to bring back and improve things in the district.
Yeah, I'm with the both of you. Like, I feel like when I go, I need to attend as much as I can, get as much as I can. I went to ISTE in Chicago, and I was really hoping I would be able to go this year, but it's just not going to happen. But you know, hopefully another time I'll be able to go. Maybe it will be in, you know, somewhere local again. But and I understand funding is tight and there's decisions to be made, and it, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, the conferences are, if you ever have a chance, do it. But yeah, so that is the whipped cream. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't.
Now this year InstructureCon is online, and they've moved it. It's been in the fall the last couple of years, but it's free. But it's this summer. If you are a Canvas user or any of the Instructure products, July 14th is their free virtual conference all day long. So, and then they record the session, so they'll be available later. So you don't have to do it on July 14th. I mean, you can interact then in some of the social platforms that go along with it, but you get the whipped cream for free this summer. But it's not the same experience.
Yeah.
So Dianna, did you go to FETC?
I did. I got to go to FETC in January.
Yeah, that's one that's been on my list, but I've never made it.
Yeah, I was super excited when my district said, book it, go. And you know, I think sometimes the first time you go to a conference, I didn't know this about InstructureCon, but ISTE, I wish I'd really studied up and connected with somebody that had been at ISTE before, to kind of get the lay of the land and know like what I should do to make the most of it. And FETC was kind of like that too, but it was a fantastic experience. It was in January. Next year it's in New Orleans. Highly recommend that one. I'm looking to, actually, I think I'm going to submit to a proposal to present there, and then cross my fingers, because that would be a good way to go back.
Okay, so on to our next topic, which is sprinkles. So I think the sprinkles are something, it's almost like the extra, the fun part, something you're lucky to have. And I think in Indiana, we're very lucky to have Keep Indiana Learning. And, you know, Keep Indiana Learning, I think, is something that keeps building, keeps growing, and there's so much there. So for me, it's something that I am almost finding it like a search engine. Like when I need to know about something, or I want to find something to send to a teacher, I look there first. There's something there? If I'm looking for a resource, I know whatever's in Keep Indiana Learning is going to be easily understood, easy to digest. It's going to be laid out either in a video, it's vetted, and I can send it on. So for me, Keep Indiana Learning is definitely the sprinkles for us. I don't know of another state, not that I've gone out and researched other states, but I think we're pretty unique in having something like that. So yeah, that's the sprinkles for me. Dianna, do you have a sprinkle?
My sprinkle is the Canvas community. And because we are heavily invested in Canvas, I've been spending a lot of time trying to explore. They do a great job of providing some guides and doing some things, but you know, I'm lucky to call Eddie Small and Marcus Painter friends. I met them through the ed tech world, then they became Canvas users. And so then they joined our NQ group, and then they just rocketed off into Canvas and instructor fame with their Canvas Casters podcast. And now they've written a book. So actually I've collaborated. Marcus connected me with another Canvas user in California, and we are collaborating to host a book study this summer through the Canvas community. The first one starts May 19th, but then we're going to meet monthly and just kind of take a deep dive into how Canvas can help with building relationships with UDL, and some of those things. So it's a free event. You can sign up in the Canvas community. They have a whole bunch of live events that I have been remiss. I hadn't noticed and knew that this piece existed to the community. And I've jumped in on a couple of them here lately, and there's some really good things, and it connects you with Canvas users all around the country. And then I've kind of made other connections because of that. So that's been a good thing. That's a sprinkle for me for sure. And in addition to the things I know you guys have talked about and what Tim probably will talk about too.
Yeah, I will echo what you're saying. I don't know that they do these anymore, but they used to do those Canvas Con kind of regional conferences. And that was the first one I ever went to, was I think at Northwestern University, that our team went up to. And then we ended up presenting at one that was at the Indiana State Museum. And that's where I met somebody like Kyle Beimfor, who's just been invaluable to us as at that time, we were both Microsoft and Canvas. And so he was invaluable to us in navigating those waters. And even though we've switched to Google now, we still, correspond with him on a regular basis. So
Kyle is a great resource to have.
Yeah. So I kind of envision this one. I see this great repository of professional development materials, and it's held up on one leg by Keep Indiana Learning and on the other leg by the Indiana Learning Lab. They are the pillars of digital PD and personal PD for me in Indiana. And
That's
what
a great
I love
way to describe it.
Okay, good. That's how I see it, because they both offer so much. It's a vast variety of ways that you can find what you're looking for. If you go to Keep Indiana Learning, you've got blogs and videos, and we're talking about DIY PD things earlier, and podcasts, and you name it, and it's there, and it's accessible, and it's usable, easily filtered. And if you go to the Indiana Learning Lab, you're going to see similar topics. It's just laid out in a little bit different area, and you can filter for what you're looking for by grade level or subject or topic. One of the things I really love about the Indiana Learning Lab, though, is that if you take part in any of those items that you see there, it automatically, it'll log in any Indiana teacher using their credentials, their school credentials, and then automatically tracks their PD points for them right there in their profile. That's amazing. And then you can download that certificate and put it in Elvis when you're ready to renew your license. Game saver, game changer, time saver for me and for teachers. So I think those two resources, both free to Indiana teachers, are just tremendous. And I don't know that other states have this. I bet they don't, but we are sitting on a gold mine here with these two organizations.
Oh, I agree. And traveling, even when I was at FETC in January, when you say you're from Indiana, we kind of have a really good reputation of being, we've put ourselves out there, and we were ahead in this ed tech game. We were, as a state, we were more equipped when COVID hit than some states around us and some states around the country, because Indiana has invested in that digital learning, and they've really worked to make that accessible for everyone, to connect communities, to provide that learning. So yeah, I think those are great resources. I know this last week, I think everybody's like me. We tend to renew our licenses in the summer. So I got my email from the Office of Professional Licensing saying, hey, don't forget your license expires. You need to renew it. And so that's prompted a lot of teachers to reach out to me looking for PD, the certificates for trainings that we've done in the past, because I kind of have those all in a Google Drive folder. And they're like, I can't find them. We don't do a great job of keeping track of that sometimes on our own. So when Tim mentioned the Learning Lab and how it tracks it for you, that is an invaluable resource. And I love that you can save things for later and favorite things and come back to them. And Keep Indiana Learning, Melissa, I thought your description of like a search engine, because there are so many topics covered by Keep Indiana Learning and the things that you can find there. So I've just been sending resources like that to teachers to get their PGP points for this summer to renew their licenses. So we are very, very fortunate.
Yeah, Dianna, what you said about Indiana being ahead, I think in reflecting on that, that name that always comes up is Candace Dotson, who put us on the map. And so it's not surprising that at every one of these summer conferences that we mentioned, there's going to be a Candace Dotson Award given away this summer. I think that's just a tremendous tribute to the work that she did on behalf of all of us and everybody in our state and all the students and teachers that we serve. And so I'm really pleased about that happening at all these summer conferences that are sponsored through the Indiana Department of Education.
Yes, Candace was truly amazing. Very, very insightful, and she really had the forethought to put us out there.
Yeah, she did us well. Okay, so with that, we have our cherry on top, our personal learning. So, Tim, did you want to start?
Sure, I'll hop in there and go for a while. This one really ties it all together for me. I mentioned John Carippo earlier from Edu Protocols. I first saw John Carippo at ISTE in Chicago and convinced the school leaders that I was working for at the time to invest in the first 2 books for our district professional development library, which, lucky for me, is housed in my office. So I had access to these books right from the get-go. And this really started my journey with Edu Protocols in my district and beyond. This last January, I attended the virtual International Edu Protocols Summit, and not only found some great resources, but some great Twitter follows and a really productive Facebook group that just shares and shares and shares. It's unbelievable the amount of resources that you get from the Edu Protocols or Edu Adventure Facebook group. This is one of the topics that I'll be presenting on this summer. In July, I'll be heading to Fort Wayne to see John Carippo keynote at the Ignite Ed Summer Conference. And so that's one that kind of comes full circle for me and ties it all together as the cherry on the top of this ice cream sundae that we've been building.
As you're saying all of that, that's something I've been so curious about. And I almost feel like it's like I'm too far behind. I can't catch up with all that Edu Protocols stuff, but it definitely is on my list and I will definitely be investing in that. I didn't realize that there was going to be a keynote about it, so I might have to drive over to Fort Wayne depending upon the date. But
I think
yeah,
July I've got it right here. The date of that one is July 26th. Yeah.
and that's the same date as my other ones.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Well, I will take good notes for you.
Thank you. I will. Now I have a resource to tap into. His name is Tim Arnold. But because I definitely want to learn. I know that that's something I could share with my teachers and everyone would benefit. I had a hard time picking what is my cherry on top because I always feel like I see something shiny, I want to learn about it. And I do. It's not like it passes me up, but what's my one thing that I really feel like I should focus my energy on? And it's really because we're at such a critical point in my district of here we are, where are we going? What are we doing? I think it comes down to why are we doing what we're doing? Why are we infusing the technology? And I think I need to do some reading on visible learning with John Hattie and invest that in myself so that I can then have that knowledge. So when I'm sharing and working with teachers, I can use that. Not that I want to, have teachers learn about John Hattie, but so that I have that in my back pocket. So I think that's my personal learning needs to focus more on the why so that I can help teachers understand the why. So that is going to be my cherry on top. I'll have some other fun things too, because learning a dry topic like that isn't my favorite way to spend a summer day, but I think it's necessary and I think it will help everyone move forward. So Dianna, okay. What about you?
I'm like you. I had a hard time picking because I've been collecting my summer reading and I've got about 5 books I want to dig into this summer.
Now I have edge protocols too.
Yeah, because Tim, I was so glad at our, was it in March, we had the digital learning, like Ed Camp. You
Yes.
talked about that there, and I was so glad to like finally, I was embarrassed because like Melissa, I was like, I don't really know what this is, and I didn't want to ask. And when you talked about it, I was like, ooh, that I'm very interested in that as well. My cherry on top for the summer, I think, is going to be the Modern Classrooms project.
That's mine too.
Yeah.
We're doing that together.
We are doing that together. I just today got my final badge in my Canvas certified educator. So side note, if you're a Canvas user and you want to invest in some really great professional learning, or if your district has some money, you know, it never hurts to ask. They can just tell you no. The Canvas certified educator program is fantastic. And I think what that has done is you kind of dive into the pedagogy. It's not a training for Canvas. It is pedagogically focused to hone your practice and make you a better teacher. Canvas and other tech tools just happen to help you do that. And so it dives into choice and personalized learning and all of these innovative things that, you know, we flip that switch. And Modern Classrooms project, I think, is just going to help me build right on that, because I'm going to be learning about, and I can't remember the exact order, but you're like talking about mastery-based grading and the student self-pacing and the projects and those kinds of things. And everything I'm reading is when teachers take that step and they change to this process, their students are engaged and they're really getting that much more out of them. And that is probably the number one thing I hear is the disconnect. Our students aren't engaged, our students aren't engaged in that learning. And we tend sometimes, I think, to blame the technology. I hear a lot of blame on that technology. It's not the technology, it's how we're using it. We need to use it in a more thoughtful manner and intentional. So I'm super excited about the Modern Classrooms project.
That's great. Those that you're talking, those are right in my wheelhouse. Not that I know a lot about them, but they're things I'm very interested in, I guess is what I'd say. That Modern Classrooms project fits into my vision of blended learning and what we ought to be pursuing in the classroom to get back that golden time, that small group time with kids. And the Modern Classroom project speaks directly to that. And then Melissa, trust me on this, I'm going to nerd out here for a second, but John Hattie is actually a supporter of Edu Protocols. He is helping. Yeah, he is helping with doing research. There's a guy named Dr. Sunny Magana who has this framework called the T3 framework that's also supported by Hattie. And they are showing on the upper end of some of these Edu Protocols over time, they're showing effect size, which is a big Hattie term, of like over 2, like 2.7, which is off the scale. Like I think anything over 0.7 is highly effective. And so if you're in the Hattie work and you go to an Edu Protocols thing, they're going to connect. So they're going to meet in the middle. So that's great timing for you right there, for sure.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
I did that on purpose.
I feel like too, I forgot to mention, but if you are looking and you're interested in like the Modern Classrooms project, right now, the state of Indiana has free scholarships. This is normally a $500 training. And the state of Indiana, Keep Indiana Learning had aligned with some, but the DOE, there's all sorts of free scholarships to sign up to do this program. They're running summer sessions.
Right? Hundreds are still open. Hundreds of spots.
Hundreds. I think I want to say they have like 1,500 free seats. So I know that Friday is the deadline for the summer session that runs like mid-June to mid-July, which is the one that I signed up for because I wanted to be able to do this without the distraction of formal school. And then they're running another one mid-July to mid-August. And then at our NQ meeting on Friday, they talked like through next school year, some of these from the DOE would be available too. So you could run this. And they say by the time you get through this, it's kind of intensive, but you finish this program with 3 completed lessons ready to go into this Modern Classrooms project thought process.
And I think they also provide you with a mentor that's sort of matched for you in grade level and things like that, subject area, that's going to follow you through that next year.
Yep,
so
absolutely.
If you hear this, Keep Indiana Chatting, and interested at all in the Modern Classroom Project, hop on to Keep Indiana Learning. There's some information there, or reach out to any of us and we'll get you to the right spot.
Absolutely.
Sure. Okay, with that, this
We
is our
built our
last.
Sunday.
Yeah, that's our Sunday. We built our Sunday. I wish we had it. We could eat it. We built it. Okay, so with that, this is our last Keep Indiana Chatting of the school year. This is 2 years now. We've done it. We're 2 years old. We hope everyone has a great summer with lots of relaxation, maybe a little bit of learning and lots of relaxation and lots of ice cream. Anything else?
No, I just want to wish everybody a good summer. Do something that brings you joy, whether that is learning, whether that is laying by the pool with a cold drink in your hand. Just go find joy this summer, because I think that when you come back to the classroom in the fall, you'll be starting with a full tank, and that's what we need next year, because this last 2 years has been a grind.
Yeah.
For sure.
My summer starts a little early. I'm going to hit my first concert of the summer next Saturday, and that's kind of the release that I get. And so that starts, and I've got some others planned, but we'll see where that takes me. So I'm looking
What
forward
concert
to
you
it.
going to? I'm curious.
I'm going to Indianapolis to see an artist named Ben Rector, who lives in Nashville, kind of more of a pop artist, but somebody, actually my daughter and I kind of discovered at the same time. And so we've always attended together. So we'll be heading out Saturday night to the TCU Amphitheater in downtown Indy to see Ben Rector.
Very nice. Very nice.
All right. It's been fun collaborating with you guys tonight
Yeah.
and all year.
All year.
Well, thanks for welcoming me in. I know I was a late addition, but I surely have appreciated it, and it's been great to get to know you guys even better.
I hope you're here to stay.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, have a good
Yeah.
summer.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.